We are now. What else is there for you to take from us?
Pinky, I beg you, please don't go back to him.
No matter with whom I fall in love, it has nothing to do with you.
If you insist on marrying her, then I'll have to cut ties with you.
Wani ni kama kuna tumasarao naanza kuleta hapa kwa kazi yetu.
Nimefanya nini?
Acha mdomo kubwa.
Why are you frustrating this woman?
Hebu muulize.
Toka huku nje kama wewe ni mwanaume. Kuja tuonane kimasomaso. Nikutandaze nikung'oe meno yote. Kuja.
Utandaze mimi?
Sikuogopi, kuja.
Pole bosi, ni vile nilikuwa najaribu, ulisema tusionje. Sasa ngakumbuka nipigishe ukuta ndio itoke vizuri.
Unajesa na chakula.
Kupata weka imani kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, dial *811 *759#.
Jameni, yani kuna watu wanapitianga mambo. Wacha vile sisi tunaonanga mambo kitoko kitoko. Kuna watu wamepitia mambo makubwa. Fikiria kuhusu Job. Akapoteza mifuko, akapoteza mimea, watoto wake, na bado akasimama na Mungu. Hata wewe, weka imani. Usiwache Mungu.
Ili kupata weka imani, dial *811 *759#. *811 *759#.
Some people dream of success, while Good Morning Kenya is here to make that happen. Start your day with authentic updates that can make or break your day. Make sure you know before you go. Join Jane Wamboi, Doreen Okello, Regina Manyara, and Victor Olo to share every morning with you. It doesn't matter where you are. You can always access Good Morning Kenya from different devices. Good Morning Kenya. Every Monday to Thursday from 6:30 to 10 a.m. on KBC Channel 1.
It is the beginning of a new month, the month of May, the year 2022. It's all smiles for workers in the country after the head of state announced that there's going to be an increment in the minimum wage by 12% effective beginning today. Of course, it is a news that was announced during the Labor Day celebrations today, which we had our team covering for you. A comprehensive news bulletin lined up for you concerning what the head of state said, among other news that also shaped the weekend, including the politics of the weekend that we got contained in our comprehensive news bulletin that begins right now. My name is Serfine Achieng and our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. But first, let's get the top stories.
I today declare an increase of the minimum wage by 12 percentage points with effect from the 1st of May 2022. Yani leo.
May Day gift for workers. President Uhuru Kenyatta increases minimum wage by 12%. Stop the blame game. President Uhuru Kenyatta calls on his deputy to give solutions instead of accusing him. and preparing for Eid. Muslim faithfuls throng shopping malls ahead of Big Day.
Once again, welcome to the broadcast. At Serfine_Achieng is where you can find me on social media at KBC Channel 1, our official social media handles. Use the hashtag Sunday Express. Karen Kibet will be joining us later for the sports news. But now on to our top story. President Uhuru Kenyatta has increased the minimum wage by 12% effective 1st of May 2022. Addressing the 57th Labor Day celebrations, President Kenyatta said it is critical to review the minimum wages so as to cushion Kenyan workers against further erosion of their purchasing power. He said the prevailing circumstances, the world has made it necessary to review the minimum wage while also guaranteeing the competitiveness of the country's economy.
The head of state said for the past 3 years there has been no review of the minimum wages, while the cost of living has increased with inflation ranging between 5 to 6% annually. The president said the government has found it necessary to increase the minimum wages.
As a caring government, we find there is a compelling case to review the minimum wages so as to cushion our workers. I today declare an increase of the minimum wage by 12 percentage points with effect from the 1st of May 2022. Yani leo.
The head of state lauded the role and resilience of workers in bolstering the country's efforts to bounce back and build stronger after the COVID-19 pandemic.
I want to give example of one particular group of Jua Kali artisans who for a long time have operated on Ngong Road, have operated in Kariobangi, and in Kamukunji. They came together and have built a company that today is worth over 250 million Kenya shillings.
President Kenyatta assured Kenyans that the government has taken sustainable measures to cushion the vulnerable, including the workers and farmers on the cost of inputs.
That at the height of the pandemic, we took necessary action to reduce pay as you earn for the lowest workers in order to avail more income to our workers across the country. Hakuna mfanyikazi wa serikali ambaye alifutwa kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa pesa. Watu wetu wote waliendelea na kazi zao bila kukatwa mishahara vile ilikuwa inaendelea katika nchi zingine. Wewe ulikatwa mshahara?
Following this announcement, the lowest paid Kenyan worker in Nairobi will now earn 15,201 shillings.
This is an important day for workers all over the world because of the significant role human resource play in socio-economic development of our nation.
We take note of the high cost of living that is making life difficult for all of us, but certainly for those at the bottom of the scale. So we do humbly request the government to focus on addressing the push factors behind the high cost of living.
Kotu boss Francis Atwoli using the occasion to hit at the Salaries and Remuneration Commission over what he claimed to be interference in negotiations between employers and employees on their collective bargaining agreements.
That this area of SRC must be revisited. It was put in place only to advise, not to usurp the social partners' responsibility of free and independently collective bargaining.
On the request by Kotu to have representation in the NSSF board, the president directed that Rose Omamo's name be gazetted by Wednesday next week.
It is all smiles as workers exit the Nyayo Stadium following the announcement by President Uhuru Kenyatta on the increment of the minimum wage. The announcement coming at a time when most of them are bearing the brunt following the high cost of living. Nancy Okware, reporting for Sunday Express from the Nyayo Stadium, Nairobi.
All right, thank you, Nancy. Now, still staying with the president's speech, President Uhuru Kenyatta has warned business cartels against exporting fuel at the expense of Kenyan taxpayers. The president said some egocentric individuals are using money set aside by the government for fuel subsidy to enrich themselves while the common man continues to suffer.
The high cost of living among households has undoubtedly been attributed to escalating cost of basic commodities, among them foodstuff and fuel. President Uhuru Kenyatta says his government has intervened in cushioning the market pricing for fuel. According to the president, the government is spending 29 shillings per litre on petrol to cut on subsidy.
Our fuel price of petrol, diesel, and kerosene is today amongst the lowest in our part of the continent. If we had not protected our consumers against this global increase in fuel prices, our petrol prices would have been approximately Kenya shillings today, 173 shillings per litre for petrol. We have similarly subsidized diesel and kerosene. If it was not for the subsidy, the price of diesel would today be 165.7 shillings per litre.
President Kenyatta, who is seemingly angered by a section of local traders diverting fuel meant for the local market, said the law will catch up with offenders.
Mutatumia hii subsidy na badala ya kupatia Wakenya mafuta, munaenda kuuza hiyo mafuta kwa bei ya juu kwa nchi ingine. Tunawaona na tunawaangalia na tutawachukulia hatua, kwa sababu hii ni pesa ya Wakenya, ni kodi ya Wakenya, na hamwezi kutuambia na mtuambie hatuna mafuta kwa stesheni zetu, na tunajua hiyo mafuta munauza kwa nchi zingine nje, mukitumia ati ndio mutengeneze faida huko badala ya kurudisha benefit kwa wananchi wa Kenya. Please tell your people it is a partnership.
The president, while distancing himself from blame on choking inflation, wants leaders to unite and resonate to make Kenya a better place. Irene Mchuma, Odim, Sunday Express.
Now on to the Labour Day politics. President Uhuru Kenyatta is challenging his deputy William Ruto to work with him or give way to someone who can help him find solutions to the many challenges facing the nation. Speaking at the Nyayo National Stadium, the president said it is hypocritical for his deputy to abandon him at the time of need and go on accusing him of contributing to the high cost of living. Yet what the country is experiencing is a global phenomenon brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic and the Ukraine-Russia war.
The Labour Day celebrations at the Nyayo National Stadium. The last under President Uhuru Kenyatta. And the first face-to-face celebration since the first case of COVID-19 was declared in Kenya in 2020. President Uhuru Kenyatta firing direct salvos at his deputy, accusing him of absconding his constitutional duty.
Na badala ya viongozi kuwa wanaketi kusema tutasuluhisha namna gani, jameni, tutasaidiana namna gani, wengine wanaenda huko kuinsight wananchi. Angalia hii bei imepanda, uliza Uhuru. Yani mimi Uhuru niko Ukraine, mimi ninafanya nini huko? Jameni. Mimi COVID nilikuwa huko kulea kutoa mimi.
The head of state calling on his deputy to give way to someone who can help him in seeking solutions to many challenges facing the nation.
Badala ya kuja kunisaidia, kuniambia niko na mawaidha hii na njia hii na njia hii, njia ambaye tunaweza tuokoe watu yetu wakati tunagojea mambo haya yaishe, wewe huko kwa soko na matusi. Na wewe unajiita kiongozi. Na unajiita ati wewe ndio sijui namba ngapi katika nchi ya Kenya. Uko wapi? Badala ya kunisaidia kuondoa hiyo shida, wewe uko kwa soko kusema ulizeni ule. Basi si ungewacha uniwachie mimi nitafute mtu ambaye angenisaidia jameni.
President Kenyatta hailed ODM leader Raila Odinga for teaming up with him despite past differences, unlike his deputy who had taken a flight.
Wewe unajua hii shida sio ya mtu. Hii ni shida ya uko wapi wakati mimi nakuhitaji. Na ndio mimi nashukuru huyo mzee. Huyo mzee at least hata kama alikuwa na mambo yake alikuja kunisaidia. Na hiyo ndio ukweli wa mambo. Na alijua hii sio shida ya mtu, ni shida ya nchi, ni shida ya ulimwengu. Tutasaidiana njia gani ndio tuokoe wananchi wetu.
The president called on Kenyans to make informed choices on the ballot by electing those who can provide practical solutions to Kenyan problems.
Mimi na ndugu Raila tulimenyana hapa, tukazunguka nchi hii, tukasema tupatieni nafasi hapa tubadilishe hii katiba. Kuna vipengele ingine ambayo inasumbua wa Kenya. Nyinyi wenyewe mumeangalia, sisi tumetoa jasho tukitafuta, wengine wamesema hawataki. Nyinyi mtajibu hiyo kwa uchaguzi ambayo inakuja.
KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli was more direct, urging workers to support the Azimio la Umoja movement, which he claims would protect the rights of workers.
Tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu, wengi watafunja redio zao, wengine watafunja television. They will not believe. They will not believe. They will not believe.
The 57th International Labour Day celebrations in Nairobi lived up to the billing of political change for industrial peace, stability and job creation as succession politics dominated the speeches. John Jacob Curia, Sunday Express.
All right, from the speeches to the color of the day, Kenya Police bans excellent performance, choirs and parade march by sections of Kenyan workers clothed in coordinated regalia and reached the 57th Labour Day celebrations. The dais at the Nyayo National Stadium was painted in the colors of the national flag and royal purple, the color of Kenyan Labour Union. Irene Muchuma Odim shares the light moments of the Labour Day celebrations.
The 57th Labour Day celebrations at the Nyayo National Stadium was open to every Kenyan worker. Security agencies were on an alert mode at all entry points to make sure that law and order was maintained. A well-coordinated melodies from the Kenya Prisons Band setting the pace. Choirs beautifully sang the best vocals out. Sections of workers from various organizations paraded and marched to showcase their expertise. The colors of the Kenyan flag was dominant at the podium and other sitting spaces. Most occupants were clothed in royal purple, perhaps to show their connection and loyalty in line with the union they represent. Despite the choking inflation, most workers that we've been able to talk to are optimistic that the future is bright. This as they showcase their prowess amid glamour and tell their story at work and away from work. The best way is said and done. Irene Nchuma Odim, Channel 1 at the Nyayo National Stadium in the county of Nairobi.
Thank you, Irene, for that report. Now, as the country joined the rest of the world in marking the Labour Day, the Jua Kali sector now wants the government to give them a stimulus package to resuscitate the sector, which was greatly hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The sector, which employs about 80% of the population, says the harsh economic times has affected their business and rendered some of them jobless.
In Mombasa's Parky Jua Kali shed, we meet Silas Kariuki, one among 800 Jua Kali artisans who make a living as a tinsmith. Kariuki has been in the trade for more than a decade. This is his livelihood. But with the current economic downturn partially occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic and the recent ban on scrap metal, Kariuki says the sector is on its knees and there is need for the government to salvage the situation through financial assistance.
Tupe mikopo na tuweke mikopo ambayo ina interest kubwa ndio tuweze kulipa. Kama hivi hapa kuna vijana wengi sana na wengi hawana makazi. Hawajua hiyo kosa kazi ni vile hatuna mikopo. Ukipata ule mkopo upate ya kununua material nini? Si utajinua. Kama Jua Kali tupate mikopo tunasikia kuna mikopo ya serikali. Hatujaipata. Toka mimi ndio Jua Kali kwa miaka ngapi sasa hivi? Nikuja hapa 28. Hiyo ni miaka kama 13. Hatujaipata mikopo wa Jua Kali. Na tunasikia kuna mikopo. Bado hatujaipata. Tungeomba kitu kama hii angalia.
He attributes the skyrocketing of their sourced raw materials to increase in fuel prices. Meters away is Saverian Nyaga, one of the millions of artisans using hammer and metal to make ends meet. He shares the same lamentations.
Sasa nafanya Jua Kali siku ya leo. Sikupenda kwangu. Nategemea nipate pesa ya kupeleka shule, watoto waende shule wakifungua bomu 1. Na kiangalia hivi sina pesa kabisa. Na hii usumi ya Jua Kali imeleta sinda kwa sababu tangu siku refu fungwe, material imepanda sana. Pia tuna complain kwa nini tukaambiwa mafuta iko juu, mitambo haifanyi kazi vile ilikuwa inafanya kitambo. Pia hiyo pesa ya mkopo tunahitaji sisi na isiwe juu sana na lipa juu sana. Naona tunaweza kusaidika.
The already bad economic situation has now been dealt another blow by the fuel crisis, which has led to the fluctuation of raw materials and goods. The affected Jua Kali artisans say they could not celebrate their day as the harsh economic times has forced them to live from hand to mouth. Michael Mondiga for Sunday Express, Mombasa County.
All right, from Mombasa County, now on to some politics. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya flag bearer Raila Odinga now says he will not condone corrupt individuals if elected president. Speaking in Nyeri County while on a campaign tour, Raila said having served in the government once, he has insights into loopholes that are being exploited by cartels to milk the Kenyan coffers dry. He said in his government, such greedy individuals will not have their way.
Wanasema tio baba nanganya watu ati hakuna pesa. Naambia kama huyu Raila Amolo Odinga ameshakuwa waziri mkuu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa miaka 5 tukiwa na Kibaki. Najua pale pesa iko. Sawa? Pale ambayo jamaa hao wanaiba pesa zenu, nitaziba hizo mianya zote. Nitapata pesa ya kutosha ya kwa hii mpango hii yangu. Sawa vijana? Mko tayari? Sisi tunataka kujenga Kenya mpya. Pale tuliwacha na Kibaki. Uhuru ameendesha mpaka mpika pale. Baba atatoa kutoka pale na kupeleka mbele. Sawa?
Huyu mzee wetu Raila Amolo Odinga ndiye atamaliza wizi kwa hii Kenya yetu. Ni mwaigwadwa ito. Na akimaliza wizi, hiyo pesa ndio itakuja kusaidia nyinyi. Tuko pamoja na baba.
Sisi tuko nyuma yako, na tuko nyuma yako kwa sababu wewe na brother yako mmekubaliana kule serikali inaenda.
Now, Muslim faithfuls around the world will celebrate Eid al-Fitr on Monday after the completion of 40 days of fasting during the holy month of Ramadan. The Muslim faithfuls are expected to converge in various mosques and open grounds across the globe for special Eid prayers. Local traders in Nairobi and Mombasa County and other towns are enjoying booming business as Muslims prepare for the important event in the Islamic calendar.
Kenyan Muslims will join their counterparts all over the world in the Eid al-Fitr celebrations, slotted for 2nd or 3rd of May, depending on the sighting of the moon today, Sunday evening, after completing 29 to 30 days of fasting. The month has ended with a brisk business and a month of windfall for traders as many households and visitors headed to the bazaars to buy food items and clothes. In Eastleigh, Nairobi, it was a beehive of activities as Muslims shopped for food and non-foodstuffs in preparation for the Eid. The traders lauding this year compared to last year, saying COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown affected Eid al-Fitr celebrations in the country.
Biashara iko sawa, nimeuza ni zile tu changamoto za hapa.
Lakini kwa chini sana, si kama makaile.
Si mbaya, unajua saa hii ni mfumo wa sikukuu na wanafungua kesho. So leo biashara si mbaya.
Biashara iko si mbaya na sio mzuri, lakini ni at least iko sawa.
Others still pessimistic that the hard economic times have made life difficult for the common mwananchi.
Biashara kwa wakati huu iko chini kiasi kwa sababu imekuja wakati tunarudisha watoto shule na tena kuna sikukuu ya Waislamu, so tumefinyirika sababu ya watoto kurudi shule.
Hii sikukuu si kama zamani. Zamani ilikuwa na dola lakini sasa hizi hakuna do. Kama asubuhi nimefunga asubuhi na kuna kitu nimeuza sana yani.
In Mombasa, shopping centers and the ancient Makinon market in the CBD witnessed a beehive of activities as Muslim faithful brought foodstuffs, clothes and shoes in readiness for the Eid celebration.
Kulingana na hii situation ambayo iko sasa, mafuta yamepanda, VAT imepandishwa, importation imekuwa iko ngumu zaidi. Sasa imekuwa ni ngumu sana kwa kila kitu kimepanda bei mpaka imekuwa hakuna kitu ambacho unaweza kununua kwa urahisi.
The business community and mainly those dealing with clothes have witnessed increased traffic of customers as the holy month of Ramadan draws to a close.
Fuel imepandisha kila kitu in terms of any item that we are selling. Kila kitu ikija sasa hii inapanda, bei inakuwa ni tofauti.
Mwaka jana ilitupiga ni corona ikatuangusha, na safari hii uchumi ndio umekuwa mgumu sana. Tunaomba sana kwa serikali wajaribu kuangalia mambo ya patroli, at least wananchi walioko chini ambao wanalalamika wanaumia, at least na wao pia wajue wanaendeleza vipi maisha.
Beatrice Getonyenge-Tich, Sunday Express.
Now back to some politics. Serfine Party presidential hopeful Jimmy Wanjigi says no presidential candidate will win the August presidential election in the first round. Wanjigi now says that his entry into the race will force a runoff. Speaking at Wahundura ACK Church in Murang'a County, Wanjigi dismissed the narrative that the presidential election was a two-horse race. He called on people from the Mount Kenya region not to play second fiddle in the forthcoming election, saying they should be part of the expected economic revolution that he was best suited to lead.
It is going to be near impossible for anybody in this race to win the first round. There are going to be three main candidates, the two others and myself. And I can tell you that is when you're going to see the true numbers of this nation. The true numbers beyond tribal coalitions, but the right-thinking Kenyans who have decided this is the time to come to the table and be counted.
And now, the United Democratic Alliance Party has been asked to obey a court order and repeat party primaries in Naivasha. This is after the political party's dispute tribunal ordered the party to repeat the exercise following a successful appeal by John Kihagi, who lost the primaries by a single vote to Jane Kihara, the current sitting member of parliament.
Following a UDA party primary exercise that was said to have been marred with irregularities in Naivasha, the political party's tribunal directed the party to hold a repeat after current member of National Assembly Jane Kihara was awarded a nomination certificate. John Kihagi had controversially won in the primaries only for the party's nomination board to reverse the decision due to some irregularities, claiming Kihara had won with a margin of 1 vote.
Nasihi National Electoral Board, nasihi kamati ambazo zimepewa nguvu kusimamia uchaguzi, na nasihi chama chetu kifanye uchaguzi kama kilivyofanya wakati huo, na tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba wananchi wanaheshimiwa. Uamuzi wa wananchi ambao watasema kupitia kwa kupiga kura uheshimiwe.
Kihagi said he was fully behind Deputy President Dr. William Ruto, calling on the party officials not to take sides in the primaries.
Kurudishia shukrani koti, vile wamesema lazima turudie uchaguzi. Wache kusema mheshimiwa anafanya wamunyonywe. Hakuna wamunyonywe, mheshimiwa anafanya. Koti lazima iheshimiwe.
Kwa hivyo ningependa kuomba our Deputy President Dr. William Samoei Ruto ya kwamba hakikishe ya kwamba ile nomination itafanyika hapa Naivasha ikuwe ya haki na uhuru.
Elsewhere, Pamoja African Alliance Party PAA, which is associated with Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi, has dismissed claims that it is joining Kenya Kwanza coalition after ditching the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party.
Will be associated with Azimio only if it meets our bare minimums. Our demands shall remain the same, and we shall join and remain as members or constituent members of Azimio only when those conditions are met. We are not joining any other coalition as we exit Azimio coalition, period.
The party officials led by George Kidhi, a gubernatorial aspirant for Kilifi County, admitted they have exited the Azimio coalition but are not joining any other formation.
Hatuja kuwa treated kama equal partners katika hichi chama, huu muungano wa Azimio, na hiyo ndio ilikuwa lalamishi letu.
Tuendi Kenya Kwanza. Kama hatutakuwa Azimio, tutabaki kama paa. Sisi wenyewe tunaweza tukajibeba.
In Mandera, Senator Mohammed Mahmoud and Faisal Abbas have shelved their gubernatorial ambitions for former CS for Education Hassan Nur Hassan.
We've joined forces together to unite the people of Mandera, and we have decided to back Mr. Hassan Nur Hassan as the gubernatorial candidate for Mandera County.
I have, as Faisal said, also shelved my ambition as the governor candidate for Mandera County and decided to throw my weight behind my brother Hassan Nur Hassan.
While addressing the media in Nairobi, the leader said the decision was based on uniting Mandera residents and transform the county.
This bait you have done is the right choice. I will not let you down. I will stand up and unite the people of Mandera. I'm appealing to all people of Mandera of good conscience to come and support this initiative, this alliance. This is the winning alliance.
One thing that has happened is that first and foremost, the communities have all been accommodated, and therefore there will be peaceful coexistence and of course cohabiting in each other. So cohesion will going to be established. Secondly, the team is so strong that any other formulation that might have earlier on thought they will make their way into the leadership of Mandera County will now have a second thought.
And the Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka Tuesday led a team from his party to condole with the family of former Machakos Senator Johnson Muthama in his Muthaiga home. The Wiper leader said the passing on of 38-year-old Janet Muthama was a shock to many. Janet will be buried Monday at Muthama's home in Tala, Machakos County. Frederick Moki for Sunday Express.
All right, thank you, Frederick Moki, for that report. Now, you know those flip-flops that you love so much, and sometimes you get rid of them after they've seen their better days? Well, in this week's segment of the process, Nisi Mano will tell you why you do not need to do that anymore, how they can be recycled, and of course, how they can be put into better use. Do stand by for that coming a little later. But of course, remember also we got the latest from the world of sports with Karen Kibet, so don't go too far. Do stay with us as we take a short break.
Wani ni kama kuna tumasarao naanza kuleta hapa kwa kasi yetu.
Nimefanya nini?
Acha mdomo kubwa.
Why are you frustrating this woman? Hebu muulize.
Toka huku nje kama wewe ni mwanaume. Kuja tuonane kimasomaso. Nikutandase nikung'oe meno yote. Kuja.
Utandase mimi?
Sikuogopi, kuja. Pole bosi, ni vile nilikuwa najaribu, ulisema tusionje. Sasa ngakumbuka nipigishe ukuta ndio itoke vizuri.
Unajesa na chakula.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We've got some unfortunate news for you. Residents of Sabwani village in Ikolomani constituency in Kakamega County are yet to come to terms with the news of the death of 2 Nyumba Kumi officials who were brutally murdered by suspected robbers. The angry mob later attacked and killed one of the suspects. According to the villagers, the Nyumba Kumi officials were on their way to arrest a notorious criminal at his home who, with his accomplice, turned on them and stabbed them to death.
A drama ensued at Sabwani village, Ikolomani constituency, Kakamega County, after 2 Nyumba Kumi officials were brutally murdered by suspected robbers. The officials are believed to have been on their way to arrest a notorious criminal, John Babu, also known as Boxer, at his home, who turned on them, stabbing them to death.
Hao watoto walikuwa wawili. Mmoja akatoroka na huyu papa akapaki ndani. Bila alipaki ndani na watu wote wakafuata huyo mwenye alikuwa ametoroka. Assistant alipaki hapa peke yake. Akasumbukana, alikuwa anapika simu kwa polisi, wanamkataza, hakuna mtu.
Sasa kitu kuna nasikia kelele. Watu wanasema, "Oh, wanashika yeye." Sisi tunakimbia. Tunakuja hapa. Kukuja kufika tu kwa njia tunasikia, "Oh, papu anaua chaka." Saa hiyo ndio sisi tunakuja tunapika nduru. Tulipata tu chaka anakufa. Huyo mwingine tulikutana kama yeye kwa pikipiki panapelekwa hospitali. Watu walikuwa karibu akasema hapana. Hata huyo anaenda kwa hospitali na yeye hawezi pona.
Agitated mob retaliated by slaying one of the suspects with a blunt object before setting the house of his accomplice on fire.
Ombi langu tu kwa serikali, tafadhali tufanye hima huyu kijana aweze kushikwa ili sisi pia tukue salama. Kwa sasa hivi tuna usalama kabisa, salama umedorora. Na pia serikali, tafadhali popote ulipo tusikie. Hii ni ombi letu, pia si vizuri kuona watu kifariki.
Ikolomani Deputy Police Chief George Opere said police officers have launched a manhunt for the suspect who is at large. He, however, challenged Nyumba Kumi officers to inform police of any security matters before conducting any move.
In case they found or they get information of any theft, they should incorporate the police before visiting the scene or before doing any search, so that police can protect them. They should not go alone without the police. Had it that they went to the police, this death could have not been happened.
Frederick Moki for Sunday Express.
Now, the Computer Society of Kenya has urged organizations to capitalize on strategic policies in data protection to avert cybersecurity challenges. Speaking in Mombasa County during the 29th edition of ICT Managers Congress, Yusuf Kileo, a cybersecurity and forensic expert, said organizations need to conduct background checks before hiring individuals in ICT infrastructure to combat emerging challenges.
Apart from that, we had another one which says,
in October year 2020, Cabinet Secretary for Information Communication Technology, Information and Youth Affairs gazetted data protection regulations. In view of this act, Kileo says there is need for ICT managers to have trainings on emerging technology trends to protect data and challenges from within organizations.
Encourage organization to follow different steps that probably these gentlemen that have attended this particular workshop, when they go back to the organization, they'll be able to see how they can put together this managing this particular kind of challenges, how they can protect data, how they can limit the privilege of these individuals not to become a threat to the particular organizations. All these kind of things we have been covering, I believe they'll be helpful to make sure that they combat this particular challenge of threats from within.
Kileo added that the training will equip ICT managers with better skills and enhance seamless, secured information sharing within departments. Peter Owenje, a resource person officer at Computer Society of Kenya, said such workshops will help on deliberation on issues affecting network management and interaction among heads of ICT from different organizations.
Key things that we offer is the ability for them to interact with each other, the ability for them to share ideas, and the ability for them to realize and enhance certain skill sets which are either trained or are brought about through the conferencing capabilities.
KBC head of ICT Ben Mwala said the national broadcaster is committed to lead from the front in matters convergence and digital news platforms.
And what I've really picked from this workshop is that most of the activities we do nowadays are really IT driven, and the workshop is really equipping us with the information for us to be able to take this back to our organizations. There's a lot of, right now there's a lot of convergence. When you look at, for example, at KBC, digital media is really emerging, and so we need to leverage on the modern IT trends for us to be able to implement and make KBC really to have an edge in terms of digital media.
Also been able to learn how to do budgeting, how to be able to get financing, how to sit on the round table as ICT practitioners. We have also learned how to leverage on different strategies to be able to get either funding from outside, to be able to cater for our core businesses, and be able to also bring change to our organizations, especially after the pandemic, when we realize that technology is being used a lot, to be able to achieve our organizational strategies, policies and procedures.
Technology, we are looking into making sure that our county government services have gone online. We have quite a number of services which we introduced online, like the single business permit, like the fire permit, and e-construction. You can be able to just apply any of the permit online at any time, so that you can be able to start your project.
The Computer Society of Kenya was established in the year 1986.
Now, the education of a former Mau evictee, Emmanuel Kiprono Cheruyot, who scored 382 marks in the 2021 KCPE exams, is now hanging in the balance due to lack of school fees. Cheruyot, who was a pupil at Naisudori Primary School in Narok South Sub-County, fears his dream of joining Baringo High School might be a mirage, as his family is unable to raise money for his school fees. This and other stories from our County News Roundup.
The future of Emmanuel Kiprono Cheruyot, who scored 382 marks in Naisudori Primary School in Narok South Sub-County, hangs in the balance due to lack of school fees. Cheruyot said his dream of joining Baringo High School might not see the light of the day since his family cannot be able to raise money for school fees.
Wazazi wangu hawana kazi yoyote wenye wataisafanya wanisaidie. Ningependa Wakenya wenye nia njema wanisaidie ili nitimishe shule yangu vizuri, alafu nisaidie wazazi wangu.
Meanwhile, a total of 20 students have benefited with secondary school scholarship from Finlay's Community Trust. The beneficiaries are children of employees of Finlay's, a multinational company operating in Kericho and Bomet counties.
It's just one way of giving it back to the community, but of course to the staff of James Finlay's. So we have given 24 today. We are training for one in the next few weeks. That should be a good relief to the parents.
On the same note, over 300 learners from Oriri constituency have benefited from mattresses donation worth 750,000, courtesy of Oriri politician Jared Kwaga. The learners who are set to join Form 1 next week were selected after a thorough need-based assessment, which was done at the ward levels.
Our mission is not just ending today. We are on the walk, we are on the way, we are moving, and we promise the voters, the Oriri constituents, that we need a servant leadership.
Elsewhere, police in Kiambu have launched investigations into the vandalization of kitchen equipment meant to cater for the provision of free lunch for Kiambu constituency schools, recently launched by area MP Jude Njomo.
If you are fighting the Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Jomo, this is not the right time, because this project is there to stay. It is not for him, it is not for his children, it is not for his friends. It is for the community, for the whole constituency. The 21 schools that we have in our constituency, those are the beneficiaries of the project.
Meanwhile, scores of residents from Kigumo sub-county have received free treatment during a medical camp which was organized to commemorate President Mwai Kibaki. Muranga gubernatorial aspirant Jamle Kamau said more than 3,000 people benefited during a 2-day medical camp which was held at Turuturu area.
Motivation levels of our health workers is at its lowest, especially in Muranga County. And these are the things that we want to remind our people, that all is not lost. If we can be able to organize such a medical camp where 3,000 people, as you speak right now, have been treated and are being treated and others are going home, and that is being done on a personal capacity.
And more than 10,000 victims of the 2007-2008 ethnic clashes want communities to activate crime watch structures in a bid to detect and prevent incitement ahead of the August 9th general election. Finally, religious leaders across Embu County have organized a series of peace prayer meetings with all aspirants vying for elective position in the region ahead of the August 9th polls. Ruth Wamboy for Sunday Express.
Thank you, Ruth, for that report. Now, a luthier is a craftsman who makes and repairs stringed instruments. Most luthiers specialize in one instrument, but Ken Mlamba, known for making guitars, can repair any stringed instrument.
It is a craft that involves the use of hands and tools, fabricating and repairing of stringed instruments that have a neck and a sound box.
And just gluing that.
Meet Ken Mlamba, a luthier, originally a French word for lute.
From the inside it comes out and sits there.
At the start of his high school, luthier Mlamba got a sudden interest in the craftsmanship of guitars.
A luthier is somebody who makes and repairs stringed instruments, and he has been doing this from 1971, based here in Kenya, and that's who I am. And I love God, yes, above all.
He recalls how his dream to pursue art was shut down simply because he was smart and was considered a scientist in school.
Yes, the schooling system in those days, rather discriminatory, was that they had two streams in a particular school. A stream was for those who were clever, B stream were for those who were not so clever. And when I was in primary school of that school, I was in A stream. And I was doing art. When you were in primary school, in that school you were allowed to do art. When I got to Form 1 in the same school, they told me, in Form 1 you cannot do art, no painting, you must do sciences only. So that made me drop out of art, and I was quite disappointed because that's what I wanted to do. I liked painting, I liked doing art, and I never went back to it again.
Just how long does one take to craft a guitar?
It's about 2 months, 2 to 3 months for an acoustic guitar. That usually takes longer time than solid body electric guitar, because there are many parts to be put together and glued, and you have to wait for it to dry and what have you. And that's why it takes a bit longer for the acoustic. Electric I can do maybe 1 month or even, yeah.
A few days ago, the Mlamba family hosted a group of local acoustic artists in Kikuyu, Kiambu County. The event, dubbed Rocoustic, aimed at raising awareness about luthiers as well as the growth of acoustic music in Kenya.
The event is about spreading good music and in a safe and controlled environment where people can just sit down and enjoy it without any sort of distractions. Yeah.
Right now we are in the process of establishing a foundation which will help train others in guitar making. As I told you, in Kenya I had to teach myself. There was nobody around to teach me. So now I would like to pass this skill to others.
Ken Mlamba has had the great pleasure to work for various music personalities.
There is like Kato Change. Actually his guitar was for his father, and that's the guitar he learnt on, and he still has it right now. There's Shiano Maimba. He played his guitar, the acoustic, the latest one. And also there was for Sauti Sol, there was Fancy Fingers.
Other than classic and electronic guitars, Mlamba also repairs other musical equipments.
It's not just guitars that come here, it's all stringed instruments. Things like Indian sitars from the schools, Indian schools here, banjos, mandolins, the whole violin family from the double bass, viola, cello, violin, all those I repair, and traditional instruments also.
For Sunday Express, I am Karen Thiongo.
Wow, interesting report there by Karen. Now, we move this forward, and environmental conservation has been an age-long concern for many globally. A company in Karen, Nairobi, has attracted the attention of Kenyans with their flip-flops recycling. Nisi Imano with that story on our weekly feature, The Process.
On The Process, we visit with a company that is turning trash into treasure, one flip-flop or slipper at a time. We are welcomed by Joe Mwakiremba, who is the head of sales at the company and our host for the day. He takes us through their recycling process.
How it works basically is we have a network of collectors that collect discarded flip-flops from our weekly beach cleanup efforts at the coast of Kenya and here in Nairobi waterways, garbage site areas, landfills, and what have you.
The washed-up flip-flops, commonly known as slippers or pati-pati in Kenya, are collected from the oceans weekly. They are received in sacks and taken to the washing area, where the flip-flops are thoroughly washed to get rid of any germs or foul smell. They are then moved to the drying area and then sorted in storage metal cubes. From there, the flip-flops are transferred to the blocking section, where the small sculptures and the medium ones are cut into blocks from different pieces.
For the smaller sculptures, we basically have a die-cut machine that die-cuts a template of a rhino, lion, elephant, and what have you. These templates are then joined together into a block. Then they are carved out into that respective animal.
The dimensions, specifications, and color differ depending on what the client has pre-ordered from their catalog.
After that, the artist will then put in the little details on them, like the ears, the eyes, the tail, the trunk, the tusks.
Next comes sanding.
Sanding process basically is to just make the sculpture smooth and remove any thorn and, on the flesh and what have you.
The size of products range from small gift items to huge life-size animals. For the bigger animals, styrofoam is used to carve the shape of the animal and later padded with the flip-flops as a covering.
For the larger ones, we use a polyurethane material. So we carve out the insides of our bigger sculptures using this material, and then we pad it with the flip-flops, and that's why you see the sculptures have a contour kind of look.
The styrofoam is a lighter material compared to flip-flops and is conducive for transportation and for shipping. After sanding, the product is cleaned again in water and put up on the shelves to dry. Once that is done, the product is termed as complete, ready for market. And there you have it. Whimsical animals and sculptures, all made out of discarded flip-flops. Reporting for KBC from Karen in Nairobi, I'm Nisi Imano.
See, I told you, your flip-flops can still be put into good use even after they've seen their better days. Nisi Mano, thank you for that report. Now, we are going to be taking a short break right here on Sunday Express. But remember, Karen Kibet is coming up with the latest from the world of sports.
I cherish what we had together.
That is true. He certainly always talks about you with us.
I don't believe my sister has gotten over Achieng that easily.
What happened?
My dad called the police.
Why did you do that? Returning Jaime's motorcycle and saying goodbye.
What do you mean you're saying goodbye?
You mind explaining to me why around the time Mauricio was about to take a nap, you left the house through the main door, but you came back through the back door instead?
I have no time to think about something else. Therefore, either we do it the way I'm asking you, or I will see to it that my dad doesn't give you a single cent. Are we clear?
Never despised anyone in my life the way that I despise all of you!
Welcome back to Sunday Express. Let's now delve into matter sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the Olympic 100 meters champion Lamor Marcel Jacobs of Italy is the latest athlete to confirm participation in the third edition of the Kipkeino Classic Continental Tour, set for Saturday, the 7th of May at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani Stadium. Jacobs, who is also the reigning 60-meter world champion, joins a star-studded 100-meter field that also includes African record holder Ferdinand Omanyala, USA's duo of Mike Rogers and Fred Curley, Git Liotlela and Sinofiso Dambile, both from South Africa.
The Kipkeino Classic will be held next weekend, with meet director Barnaba Korel saying, for the first time in Kenya, the 100-meter race will have 9 lanes. This year's edition will have spectators in the stadium with entry fees set at Kenya shillings 200.
This is the third edition of Continental Tour. And of course, the most important thing also is that the spectators are allowed in the stadium. Unlike the previous 2 editions that have taken place, we were not able to do that because of COVID-19.
Korel added that Athletics Kenya is at an advanced stage of negotiating with World Athletics in quest to host one Diamond League leg, which will be the second in Africa after the Rabat leg in Morocco.
We have had a lot of athletes that have shown the interest. We have athletes from other countries. Some are Olympic champions, world champions, silver medals, bronze medals. We have all of them, especially the sprinters that have come. I've already confirmed their participation in the event.
Athletes will compete in national, discretionary and core events categories, with core events featuring hammer throw for both men and women, long jump women, 3,000 meters steeplechase both men and women, 200 meters both men and women, 100 meters men and pole vault men.
This year, we're having some new athletes also who are not there. They have confirmed last night, and one of the top athletes that I've already confirmed for the event is the Olympic champion in 100 meters, none other than Lamor Marcel Jacobs from Italy.
The Kenyan stop will be the third in the Gold Label Continental Tour event after the Bermuda Games held on 9th April and the Gold Coast Games, which were held in the USA on 16th April. For Sunday Express, I am Nora Mungi.
Thank you, Nora, for that report. On Saturday, let's all fill the stadium so that we can cheer on our track and field athletes. Moving on to Samatta's football, AFC Leopards moved to 1 point of 9th place Talanta FC after beating KCB 2-1 at the Kasarani Stadium. Rivals Gor Mahia were held to a goalless draw by Kariobangi Sharks. The same score witnessed in the match between Kenya Police and City Stars, while leaders Kakamega Homeboys dropped 2 points after being held to a 1-1 draw by Wazito.
AFC Leopards faced KCB at the Kasarani Stadium in search of 3 points to close the gap between them and 9th place Talanta FC, and they got off to the best start, dominating possession, which was rewarded in the 30th minute through Victor Omone's goal. And just before half-time, a controversial penalty was awarded to the Leopards, John Makwata making it 2-0. KCB went in search of a point from the game but could only score once with 7 minutes remaining on the clock. 3 points were sealed by the Leopards, and this is what it meant to them. Rivals Gor Mahia were held to a goalless draw by Kariobangi Sharks. Kenya Police drew 0-0 with City Stars, while leaders Homeboys drew 1-1 with Wazito.
Thank you, Buckley, for that report. Now, finally, Richarlison scored a crucial second-half winner as Everton beat Chelsea 1-0 to move within 2 points of the Premier League safety zone. Meanwhile, Harry Kane and Son rediscovered their touch in front of the goal as Tottenham beat Leicester 3-1 to boost their hopes of a top-4 Premier League finish.